Hello and welcome to the 30k channel, a channel dedicated to the game set in the Horus Heresy. I'm your host, David Brains, and we've been joined by Howard today. Good morning, Howard.
How are you doing, David?
Excellent. I'm really pleased Howard is here. I've been badgering him for months and months to get some models painted and come on. I honestly thought Howard was going to bring us Imperial Fists, but I'm relieved that you brought Word Bearers.
Don't know about it, we'll see, won't we?
It's a tough list.
Yeah, lots of Galvor back.
Oh, man.
Yeah,
there's a lot of infantry in this list.
Yeah, lots of infantry, a few heavy weapon squads, and one Contemptor. And a big Praetor tooled up. I'll charge him in.
Yeah,
so I like to play.
He's got some good buffs. It's going to be really interesting to see this army assault the Iron Hands. This is the 6th Challenge the Channel game that we're filming today, and the series has gone really, really well. I've had loads of takers for it, and we're constantly booking new people on. And like I said, I'm really pleased Howard's here. He's got a really large Word Bearers army.
Yeah, it's getting there. A few tanks left to paint, but there are worse things to paint, aren't there?
So we're going to try and get him back for a much bigger game. You know, Word Bearer players are quite hard to find at the moment, so it'll be good if we can get you back for a bit more some action. So looking at your list very quickly, you know, we talked about lots of tactical units. You've got a couple of heavy weapon squads.
Yeah, so I've gone for like Pride of the Legion, so a few special weapons in there just to blow doors and a bit more harder than the normal tactical squads.
You know, and don't forget the lowly bolter is a really great weapon. You've seen in lots of previous games where bolters, if you Fury the Legion.
I normally take big tactical squads, but because it's quite a small game, I needed some special weapons in there as well. Yeah. Otherwise, I normally take big blobs of tacticals.
You got a few plasma weapons in there as well.
Yeah. So playing in Fist, you need lots of bolt guns with that +1 to hit. So.
Exactly right. So really good. We're going to see. I reckon those autocannons you got will sit at the back of the field, 48-inch range. They can see right from one end to the other. I'm not even going to get nowhere near them. And then every turn...
I've had some games before in Zone Mortars with them, and then they do really well because they just sit back.
Just pump the shots there.
Enough shots can kill anything.
Yeah, wounding on 2s. It's all about the numbers, isn't it?
Yeah.
Good stuff. All right, really looking forward to this. Let's delve into Howard's list, work out exactly what he's taken, and then we'll get on to the game.
2,000 points of Word Bearers, led by the Praetor, with the Warlord traits, Child of Terror, using the Right of War, Pride of the Legion. Okay, leading the Word Bearers force is a HQ slot, is a Praetor equipped with Artificer's Armour, Iron Halo, Burning Law with the spell Life Leech and Smite from the Biomancy. He is equipped with a Paragon Blade with digital lasers and a Melter Bomb. Accompanying the Praetor is a Chaplain equipped with a Power Maul and a Refractor Field. The elite slots are taken up by 2 squads of Galvor back. Each squad has 1 melter gun in, and the Dark Martyr is equipped with Power Fist and Artificer's Armour. Third elite slot is taken up by a Contemptor Talon with 1 Contemptor in it. He's got a Kerry's Assault Cannon and a Storm Bolter and Power Fist. Okay, on the troop selection, it is 3 identical squads of veteran tactical marines. They're equipped with a melter gun and plasma gun. The sergeants for squads 1 and 2 have power swords, bolt pistols, artificer's armour and melter bombs. The third squad has a power fist, artificer's armour and melter bombs. So their veteran ability is going to be resolve, giving them stubborn. First heavy support slot is taken up by a heavy weapon support team with 5 heavy flamers in it. The sergeant is equipped with artificer's armour and a melter bomb. Squad is also equipped with hardened armour. Final heavy support slot is taken up by another heavy weapon support team. They are all equipped with autocannons. The sergeant is equipped with artificer's armour, melter bombs, and the whole team has hardened armour. Pride of the Legion.
1,985 points of Iron Hands running the Company of Bitter Iron Right of War. The Warlord trait is Murderous Arsenal, and the force is led by Autek Mor. Leading the Iron Hands is Autek Mor. He's equipped in Califracti Terminator armor. He's equipped with a servo harness, Cortex controller, Paragon blade, and Volkite Charger. His Warlord trait is Murderous Arsenal, which gives him and a unit he joins preferred enemy special rule, which allows him to reroll fail to hit and to wounds roll of 1 when attacking its hated foe in the shooting and combat phase. Elites are 2 Contemptor Dreadnoughts, both armed with Carey's assault cannons. Both have chain fists, but one has a inbuilt graviton gun and the other an inbuilt melter gun. Both have been upgraded to have extra armour. Troops for the Iron Hands, because I'm using the Bitter Iron Rite of War, it makes all Immortals squads as troops. I've taken 3 squads of 15 Iron Hands Immortals, all armed with Volkite Chargers. 3 have been upgraded to take Melter Guns. The Sergeant is equipped with Artificer Armour, a Melter Bomb, and a Breaching Charge. The Immortals gain the Immortal Hatred special rule, which gives them hatred against traitors, and that allows them to reroll all fails to hit rolls during the first turn of each close combat phase. They also have the Bitter Duty special rule, and that gives them the Stubborn special rule whilst in the enemy's deployment zone. Howard, we're all done. We're set up, ready to go.
Let's do this.
I'm really nervous about this word bearer list. I think it might do the business, to be honest with you. So don't forget, only one person has beaten the challenge so far.
If the word bearers can do it today, then
I reckon you've got a good chance. All right. Well, friendly handshake. Good luck.
Yeah, good game, mate. Let's do it.
And it's gone to word bearers turn 1.
So word bearers turn 1. The first veteran squad opened the door, ran through. And then the Galvorback followed up behind them, blew the door up with the melter gun. The second tactical squad blew the other door up with a melter gun and held there because they can't go any further.
Iron Hands turn 1. Not very much from the Iron Hands this turn. Both squads have broken through the door, hoping to close the gap between the Iron Hands and the word bearers. Each Contemptor has advanced forward a little bit. Autek Mor was originally in this squad, and now he's changed and moved over to the squad on the left-hand flank. I've done this primarily because the word-bearer characters are on this side of the board now, so I was just stood in the middle there just to see where they were going. And then the squad on the right-hand side here have advanced forward. I don't think I've got any range shots this turn, so it's all up to turn 2.
Bearers. Turn 2, movement phase. Everything's just rushing forward on the right flank. The autocannons are sat there waiting to shoot. On the left flank, the veterans are just charging up there. Galvorback with support behind, with the Contemptor. Okay, word bearers, turn 2, shooting phase. On the left flank, everything ran, bar the Contemptor, which shot into the Immortals. It managed to only kill 1 Marine. On the right flank, everything ran up. The first squad got a massive 6 inches. The Galvorback moved to 5 inch, and then the slow heavy weapon support team only moved 4. And the autocannons shot at the Contemptor, getting 2 glancing hits, but the Contemptor saved both of them. So fairly happy with that turn. My main objective is to run up the board. The first 2 squads are there to soak up the fire, whilst the Galvorback charge into the infantry.
Iron Hands movement turn 2. Howard has done an absolutely spectacular job of closing that gap. It's hard to think 3 or 4 turns ahead, but closing that gap is so key to this mission. I've now got a lot of enemy to deal with. I've got those 2 tack squads that are, as Howard said, they're the chaff for when the Galvorback hit. So I've really got to pick my targets this turn, but the entire army has moved up. So Autek Mor and his Immortals have moved forward in support of the Contemptor over there. The squad that was stuck in the middle, they've committed themselves now. They've come over to the right-hand flank to try and get as many shots down as I can. And then again, the front Immortal squad, accompanied by the Contemptors, move forward. I think what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to actually target the Galvor back behind the tactical squads. See if I can reduce their numbers a little bit. I'm confident I could probably stay in combat and tie the left flank up. Howard's got 15 models to pile through, so we'll see what happens. Not looking forward to it. Iron Hands shooting, turn 1. The Iron Hands Contemptor targeted the Galvor back, but unfortunately Howard made all of his saves. But then the 14-man Immortal squad opened up with their Volkites, and they took out the 10-man tack squad. I got 4 rending hits, 4 rending wounds, which was great. And then unfortunately Howard failed his artificer save, and then that took the rest of the squad. And then with Deflagrate as well, that just finished them off. So it was a great round of shooting. Not quite what I planned though. I did really want to take a couple of Galvor, or one Galvor back down, and then delay them slightly, but they're open for next turn. We're now going to move on to the left-hand flank. On the left-hand flank, exactly the same thing happened. The Contemptor fired into the Galvor back. Unfortunately, only managed to take 1 wound off the closest Galvor back model, which is a little bit unfortunate. I did fire the Graviton gun, but Howard passed all of his saves, which was unfortunate. The Immortal squad, supported by Autek Mor, shot into the veteran squad in front. Nowhere near as good as the other side, and only caused 4 casualties, and Howard passed his leadership test. That's the end of the turn for the Iron Hands. All I've got to do now is brace for the Galvor back charging in. The only thing I've got going in my favour is the reactionary fire, so we might take 1 down, but I think when they hit, they're going to hit real hard.
So Webbearer's turn 3, movement phase and psychic phase. Just pushed everything up forward. The veteran tactical squad has moved out the way for the Galvor back's charge. On the other side, they're all just ready for the charge. And psychic phase, I've managed 3 dice for the power level. Rolled 2 dice for the smite and failed both, and rolled 1 dice for the life leech, failed that as well. Webbearer's turn 3 shooting phase, starting with the left flank. The Galvor back shot everything at the Immortals, didn't do a thing. The Meltagun rolled a 1 to wound, and on the Contemptor shot at the other Contemptor, getting 2 glancing hits, but the Contemptor shrugged them off with its automatic shields. On the right flank, the autocannon shot at the Contemptor, managing 1 glancing hit on it, which was unsaved. The veteran tactical squad, instead of shooting their bolt guns, shot their bolt pistols ready for the charge, and then the not scoring any wounds, and the Galvor back shot at the Immortals as well and did nothing. Wordbearer's turn 3 combat phase. The Galvor back declared a charge against the Immortals. They passed the reaction fire and managed to score 1 wound on the Galvor back, but the Galvor back only managed a 4-inch charge. On the right flank, the veterans declared a charge against the Immortals. Immortals obliterated them with the fire, but then the Galvor back managed to charge in there. So the combat with the Galvor back and the Autek Mor's Immortal squad, the Galvor back only managed to kill 2 of the Immortals, but on the challenge with a Autek Mor and the Dark Martyr, Autek Mor managed to do 1 wound on the Dark Martyr, but the Dark Martyr crushed him with his fist and instant deathed him. It was a great victory for the Wordbearers on that. I wish they would have broken, but at least the Contemptor can't get in now.
Iron Hands, turn 3, movement phase. Wow, that was a brutal turn for me in the Wordbearers phase. You know, losing Autek Mor at such an early state is so bad. His Paragon Blade hit 3 times, but it failed to wound, and against that Dark Martyr, that would have been absolutely fantastic, but it didn't do the business, so we've got to push on. So the left flank, I couldn't do anything here. The Contemptor is essentially locked in that gap now, and he's going to suffer the shooting from the autocannon team next turn. I am going to try and target the Heavy Flamer squad behind, but really, I'm not too worried about them. So we're struggling for the left side. On the right-hand flank, the entire force is pushed up. I need to get as many shots down as possible on the Galval backs. So the 14-man Immortal squad have pushed forward to bring their weapons into range, and the Contemptor will do exactly the same thing. Hopefully, I'll have a better shooting phase. And then in the Wordbearer's next turn, it kind of forces the Galval back to charge me, which means I'll get the reactionary fire. So hopefully, between those two phases, I can wipe that squad out, but it's looking quite grim. Iron Hands shooting turn 3. The Contemptor on the left-hand flank targeted the Heavy Flamer squad and took 2 of the squad there, which was great news. They passed their subsequent leadership test. On the far side, the 14-man Immortal squad combined with the Contemptor shot into the Galval back squad, took out the Dark Martyr and 2 Galval back, which was an absolutely fantastic result. I was really worried about that. Now all we've got to do now is brace for the charge in Howard's next turn, and then we'll move on to the combat over here. Iron Hands turn 3, assault phase. Wordbearers have done a fantastic job this turn. The Praetor challenged the Immortal Sergeant and subsequently cut him down. The Immortal didn't even get a chance to strike. The wounds then spilled out of the combat and took a few more Immortals with them. In the end, 4 Immortals died, and the Immortals unfortunately didn't cause any wounds back. They did, however, pass the leadership test because they're stubborn, and they are holding the Galval back. Unfortunately, though, the Contemptor's access or route is blocked due to the combat and the confines of the corridor. So it would have been really nice to have got him into combat. So he might be a bit of a late bloomer, but we're now going to go into the Wordbearer's next turn.
Wordbearer's turn 4 movement phase. The Galval back have made way for the Contemptor to come in and stop the Overwatch shooting from the Immortals. The squad behind's following up as well. On the right flank, can't do anything with the Galval backs, they're in combat, but the heavy flamethrower squad has moved up. So Wordbearers shooting turn 4. The autocannons manage no damage to the Contemptor. On the other flank, the Contemptor managed to kill 2 Immortals with its Kerry's assault cannon. The Galval back missed melter gun shot against the Immortals, and the veteran tactical squad shot against the Contemptor, managing 1 glancing hit with a plasma gun, but the melter gun missed. Wordbearer turn 4 combat. The Contemptor charged the Immortals. The Immortals with 3 melter guns only managed to do 1 penetrating hit, resulting in a shaken on the Contemptor. The Galval back and the Chaplain also followed into the Immortals. They were doing a very poor combat, only managing to kill 1 Marine with the Contemptor, but unfortunately for the Immortals, they failed their leadership test and rolled a massive 6 on the initiative sweeping advance roll. Luckily for the Chaplain, he rolled a 6 with a higher initiative, instantly killing all the Immortals. Then the Contemptor consolidated 6 inches, moving it right up in the face of the other Contemptor, and the Galval got 5 inches, meaning they could hide out the way for the oncoming volley of shots. On the other flank for the combat phase, the Praetor managed to do no wounds, the Galval managed to do no wounds, but the Dark Martyr managed to kill 2 with his Power Fist. Very poor turn. David also passed all of his leadership checks, so that's another round of combat.
Iron Hands turn 4 movement and shooting. A really tough game, this one. Howard is doing extremely well with his Wordbearers. But in the movement phase, the Immortal squad pushed up forward to bring those melter guns into range. I then shot with the melter guns into the Contemptor, causing a hull point. And then the Iron Hands Contemptor shot into the Wordbearers Contemptor, finally taking its last hull point off with its melter gun. So that was great news. That gets rid of that threat. I am still very worried about the Chaplain and one of the Galval back hiding around that corner, poised to charge. But the Contemptor will do a good job standing in their way. And then we've got a full 15-man Immortal squad protecting this area here. On the left-hand flank, the Iron Hands Contemptor fired his Carey's assault cannon and the graviton gun at the Heavy Flamer squad, killing the sergeant with artificer armor and one of the members, but he passed his leadership there and he stood still. We're now going to go into combat where I feel I am not going to do very well. Combat on the left-hand flank did not go very well at all. The Galvorbuck absolutely ripped apart the Iron Hands Immortals, with the Dark Martyr killing the final Immortal. So, you know, that squad is annihilated now. All I have left on the board are 2 Contemptors and 1 full 15-man squad of Immortals, and it is Howard's next turn, so it's going to be absolutely savage.
Werebear's turn 5 movement. The Veteran Tactical Squad's moved up to shoot the Contemptor with a Plasma Gun and Melter Gun. The Galvorback and the Chaplain have moved up as well, just to try and finish that off. On the other flank, the Galvorback and the Praetor just have to stand there because they can't fit by the Contemptor. Hopefully I can destroy it on the shooting phase. Werebear's turn 5 shooting phase. The autocannon squad managed to get 2 glancing hits on the Contemptor, failing both of its saves, destroying it. The Galvorback then ran past it, hopefully getting the objective by the end of the game. On the other side, nothing happened. The Galvorback missed with its melter gun. The Veteran squad missed with its melter gun. Got 2 hits with the plasma gun, but unfortunately neither of those penetrated. Turn 5, Werebear's close combat phase. I could charge the Galvorback and the Chaplain into Contemptor, but I think that would give David more shots and chance to kill that unit on the following turn. So this makes him work for a little bit more. The Galvorback obviously have ran, so they can't charge into the other Immortal squad. So I think that's the end of the turn.
Iron Hands turn 5, movement, shooting and assault. The Contemptor on the right hand side fired the Melter Gun and the assault cannon into the Chaplain and the Galvorback, managing to kill the Galvorback, but the Chaplain was fine. I then declared a charge against the Chaplain, but unfortunately I immobilised myself on the wreck that was the Contemptor. So I put a whole point on myself and immobilised, which is a really, really bad result. I was really hoping to take out that Chaplain, but it didn't happen. On the left-hand side here, or in the middle rather, the Immortal squad shot everything they could at this at the Galvorback and the Praetor. Didn't do any wounds, unfortunately. All my melter guns missed, and the and Howard's saves were just unbelievable against the Volkites. I then had a decision to make. I wasn't going to charge them because I anticipated a charge in Howard's next turn. But of course, what he would have done is he would have separated the Praetor off, ran the Praetor into the Iron Hands deployment zone to secure it, and then charged the Galvorback to tie me up. So I saw this right at the last minute and then decided to charge them. So hopefully I can tie them up. But as we've seen in previous turns, the Galvorback will probably make short work of the Immortals, but it was my last-ditch attempt to try and save the game. Let's see what happens. Iron Hands turn 5. Man, that was a rough combat. I neglected to mention as well that when I charged the Galvorback, I lost 2 Immortals to the reactionary Overwatch fire, which was pretty rough, to be honest with you. But in the end, the Immortals scored no wounds, but unfortunately they lost 2, 4, 6 models, which means I needed, I think I needed a 4 on my leadership test before I broke and ran. But thankfully, I rolled a double 1, which was amazing and kept me in the combat. I have a feeling that Howard will probably do me in the next turn and then consolidate into the movement phase. But let's see what happens.
Last turn of the game for the Werebearers. The movement phase, the Chaplain joined the Veteran squad, giving him his fearlessness to the Veterans. They're also ready to shoot the Contemptor. The autocannons just moved up slightly. The heavy flamer ran up as well. In the shooting phase, pretty uneventful. The melter gun missed and the plasma gun got 1 hit but failed to penetrate. They're all ready to charge in now. The Contemptor's immobilised with 1 hull point left. I think I should be able to do it with a power maul or the melter bomb. Turn 6 for the Werebearers, the final combat phase for them. The Veteran squad with the Chaplain charged the Contemptor. The Contemptor failed its reaction fire and then not managed to hit at all with its assault cannon or melter gun. When they did the combat, the chaplain managed 4 hits with his Crozius, and against the rear armour destroyed it with 4 glancing hits. On the other combat, the Praetor managed 2 hits and wounds, but David managed to save both, one with a 6-up feel no pain. The Galvorback themselves didn't do much, only managing to kill 1 Marine. Then the Powerfist Dark Martyr didn't manage any hits at all. Oh, the Immortals managed 1 hit themselves, killing 1 of the Galvorback, ending in a draw result.
Iron Hands, turn 6, the last turn of the game, and I'm sorry to say that the Iron Hands have been completely wiped out. So in my final turn, I had no movement left to go because obviously the Contemptor died in the previous turn, which is really unfortunate. But the Praetor and the Galvorback and the Dark Martyr put so many wounds on the Immortal squad that I just could not save them all. I had some really good shield saves, but ultimately it came down to 2 Immortals left. I lost the combat. I needed a really low roll on my leadership, but unfortunately I didn't make it. And the Praetor and the Galvorback wiped the Immortal squad off the board, and then they consolidated into the deployment zone. So they have absolutely smashed the challenge, and what a hell of a game it was. Let's go back, talk to Howard, and we'll go from there. It's done. Howard, what an absolutely spectacular...
That was tight. All the way to the end, wasn't it?
Oh, man. That is the first wipeout we've had on Challenge the Channel. And, you know, and I said at the beginning I was worried about that list, but it smashed.
First turn when you killed that, well, the first couple of turns when you killed that whole squad, just with those Volkites, I was a bit worried then, but after that it was up and down all the way through. Oh, it was a great game. God, it was unreal. And then right at the last minute, when I wanted to charge into the chaplain, and you that's probably saved me the game.
Man, that killed me. But you know, you did so well of putting those tactical squads in front of the Galvorback on the left hand side.
They do the damage.
They did.
But I suppose the last tactical squad at the end, they came in there and they destroyed the Contemptor, so they did pretty well as well.
Yeah.
The only thing that didn't do well was the heavy flamers, but there's too much on the board to get them in there.
Yeah, true. And you know, flamers are difficult in normal games of Zone Ties. They are great because you can just hide around corners and stuff. But I guess this because you're shooting forward down the corridor.
Funneled. Everything's funneled all down to those 2 corridors.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So, it was a great game. I really enjoyed it.
I can't believe it. It was brilliant. And Howard played really fast. You know, I played quite fast myself, but Howard was like, boom, 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 boom. So I actually didn't take many photos. So there's about 10 photos, but we were just so fast today. So, yeah, I mean, absolutely spectacular game. So congratulations.
Just got to get up there, haven't you? Just get up there and just do the damage. Yeah,
you know, I said right at the beginning of the first or second turn, I think it was, a lot of people, they just stand around, think they've got loads of time, but really...
It's just down to the last... Literally, I probably had it turn 5 in the deployment zone, your deployment. But you've got to be up there early on. Yeah, and you had the weight of dice to really hammer those Immortals. And I was really struggling with saves towards the end. And and then you just wiped them. So absolutely brilliant. I really hope you've enjoyed this game. I think you'll agree that Howard did an absolutely spectacular job. Now, you do have some Instagram, don't you? Yeah, I'm on Instagram. It's Gimp Fist. That's from my Imperial Fists. Got Mechanicum as well on the Word Bearers.
Good. One of the best Instagram names we've had on for a long time. So it's really good. And there will be no outtakes from this game. I think we did a really tight game. There was about 1 or 2, wasn't there? So this is just full bore Challenge the Channel. If you would like to have a go at Challenge the Channel and do an amazing job, just like Howard did today, please get in touch with me. The email address will pop up on the bottom there, but it's david@the30kchannel.com. Please get in touch. We're looking for people maybe to December, the last week of December would be really good, or, you know, January, February. So we'll try and film as many of these as we can. And make sure you bring a strong list, just like Howard did. Yeah. So, again, congratulations.
Cheers, mate. Great game.
Thank you so much for coming out. And we'll try and get Howard back for a bigger game. He's got a load more word bearers, and we're always struggling for word bearers. So we'll get him another time. But we'll see you in the next game.